You look in the mirror and something feels off, even if you can't quite explain it at first. Your hair doesn't behave the way it used to. It feels finer between your fingers. It doesn't hold volume. When you run your hand through it, more strands come away than you remember seeing before. After 60, thinning hair often creeps in quietly, not all at once, and most people assume it's just age doing what age does. That assumption is comforting, but it's also misleading, because while aging plays a role, what's happening on your plate every day often has far more influence than you've been told. The truth is, many people over 60 are unintentionally starving their hair follicles while believing they're eating well. The body changes with age. Digestion shifts, absorption slows, hormones fluctuate, circulation isn't as robust as it once was. All of this means your hair has to fight harder to survive, and if you're not supplying the right raw materials, it simply can't keep up. Hair is not a priority organ for the body. When resources are limited, your system diverts nutrients to the heart, the brain, and vital organs first. Hair gets whatever is left over, if anything. That's why thinning often accelerates later in life, even in people who never struggled with hair issues before. What most people don't realize is that hair follicles are living tissue. They respond to nourishment, blood flow, inflammation, and nutrient availability. When those conditions improve, follicles can stabilize and, in many cases, strengthen again. This isn't about chasing teenage hairlines or promising miracles. It's about creating an internal environment where your existing hair has a fighting chance to become stronger, thicker, and more resilient. And that begins with food, not bottles, not treatments, not expensive procedures. The foods you eat either support hair structure or quietly undermine it. Many diets common after 60 are calorie sufficient but protein poor. They're low in key minerals, they're repetitive. Toast for breakfast, soup and crackers for lunch. A modest dinner with little emphasis on protein. It feels light and sensible, but to your hair follicles, it's a slow famine. Over time, strands grow thinner, growth cycles shorten, and shedding increases. The contrast is striking when nutrition improves. People often notice changes first in their nails and skin. Then slowly the hair follows, less shedding in the shower, more body at the roots, hair that feels stronger instead of fragile. These changes don't happen overnight, but they do happen when the body is consistently supplied with what hair tissue needs to function. That's why focusing on specific foods matters so much. Not vague advice, not eating healthier in general, but deliberately including foods that deliver the exact nutrients aging hair struggles to get enough of. As we go through this, it's important to understand that strengthening thinning hair after 60 is about support, not force. You're not pushing follicles beyond their limits. You're removing the obstacles that have been holding them back: reduced inflammation, improved circulation, adequate protein, sufficient micronutrients. When those pieces fall into place, hair often responds better than people expect. This is especially true for those who assumed thinning was irreversible and stopped paying attention to hair health altogether. Giving up sends the wrong signal to your body. It tells your system that hair no longer matters, so it allocates even fewer resources to it. But when you begin eating in a way that supports hair, the body adjusts. It senses that resources are available again. Follicles that were producing weak strands may start producing stronger ones. Growth phases may lengthen. Breakage can decrease. None of this requires extreme measures. It requires consistency and understanding. One of the most common mistakes people make is focusing on topical solutions while ignoring internal nutrition. Shampoos, oils, serums, and massages can help the scalp environment, but they cannot replace missing building blocks. Hair grows from the inside out. Every strand you see is the result of cellular activity beneath the scalp that depends on nutrients delivered through your bloodstream. If those nutrients aren't present, no topical product can compensate. After 60, this internal supply line becomes even more important because absorption efficiency declines. You may be eating certain foods but not absorbing them as well as you once did. That makes nutrient density crucial. Each bite needs to count. Foods that deliver multiple hair-supporting nutrients at once are far more effective than foods that provide calories without substance. This is where strategic eating makes a difference. It's also why some people see improvement even after years of thinning once they change what they eat. Their follicles weren't dead, they were undernourished. There's a difference. Understanding that difference restores a sense of control. Hair thinning no longer feels like an inevitable downhill slide. It becomes something you can influence. Not perfectly, not completely, but meaningfully. And meaningful improvement is often enough to restore confidence. Stronger hair frames the face differently. It changes how you feel when you get ready in the morning. It affects how you carry yourself. These psychological effects matter just as much as the physical ones. The goal isn't perfection. It's resilience. Hair that holds up better. Hair that sheds less. Hair that reflects better overall health. When you approach hair from this perspective, food stops being just fuel, it becomes information. Every meal sends signals to your body about what to prioritize, what to maintain, and what to let go. By choosing foods that support hair after 60, you're telling your body that this tissue still matters. That signal alone can shift how resources are allocated. Over time, those small shifts compound. This is why people who commit to nutritional changes often notice gradual, but steady improvements rather than dramatic spikes followed by disappointment. Hair health rewards patience. It responds to patterns, not impulses. As you move forward, keep in mind that strengthening thinning hair is not about one superfood eaten once. It's about building a pattern that your body can rely on. When that pattern includes the right foods, day after day, the scalp environment becomes more supportive. Follicles receive better nourishment. Growth cycles stabilize. And thinning, while it may not disappear entirely, often slows and softens enough to feel manageable again. That's the foundation everything else rests on. When people talk about strengthening thinning hair after 60, they often jump straight to supplements or treatments, but the real turning point usually comes when the diet changes in a meaningful way. This is where specific foods begin to matter, because they provide the raw materials your aging hair follicles rely on to keep functioning. One of the most overlooked foundations is protein. Hair is primarily made of a protein called keratin, and without enough dietary protein, your body simply cannot maintain strong strands. After 60, many people unintentionally reduce protein intake because appetite changes, digestion slows, or meals become simpler. This creates a quiet deficit that shows up first in hair. Strands become finer, growth slows, and shedding increases. The body, sensing limited resources, diverts protein to muscles and vital organs, leaving hair undersupported. Restoring adequate protein doesn't require extreme diets, it requires intention. High-quality protein sources send a clear signal to your body that there is enough available to maintain non-essential tissues like hair. When that signal becomes consistent, follicles often respond by producing thicker, more resilient strands. This is why people sometimes notice improvement in hair a few months after increasing protein intake, even if nothing else changes. Another critical category is foods rich in healthy fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids. These fats play a major role in reducing inflammation throughout the body, including the scalp. Chronic low-grade inflammation is common after 60, even in people who feel generally healthy. This inflammation can disrupt the hair growth cycle, keeping follicles stuck in a resting phase longer than they should be. Omega-3s help calm this environment, making it easier for follicles to re-enter active growth. They also support the structure of cell membranes, which improves nutrient exchange at the follicle level. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel are especially valuable here because they deliver omega-3s in forms the body uses efficiently. Plant-based sources like walnuts and flax seeds help too, but fish tends to have a stronger effect. When these fats become a regular part of the diet, people often notice that hair feels less dry and brittle. The scalp may feel calmer, less itchy, less tight. These are subtle signs that the underlying environment is improving. Iron-rich foods also become increasingly important with age. Iron is essential for oxygen transport, and hair follicles are highly sensitive to oxygen availability. When iron levels are low, follicles receive less oxygen, which can shorten the growth phase of hair and increase shedding. Many people associate iron deficiency with younger women, but it can affect older adults as well, especially those who eat little red meat or have absorption issues. Dark leafy greens, legumes, and certain animal proteins provide iron, but absorption matters just as much as intake. Pairing iron-rich foods with vitamin C helps the body absorb iron more effectively. This combination is powerful for hair because it improves the delivery of oxygen and nutrients to the scalp. Over time, better oxygenation can help follicles maintain healthier growth cycles. Zinc is another mineral that plays a quiet but critical role in hair strength. It's involved in tissue repair, immune function, and the regulation of oil glands around hair follicles. Zinc deficiency can lead to increased shedding and weaker strands, and it's more common in older adults than many realize. Foods like pumpkin seeds, nuts, eggs, and dairy provide zinc in usable amounts. When zinc intake improves, the scalp environment often becomes more balanced. Oil production stabilizes, inflammation decreases, hair feels less fragile. These changes don't announce themselves loudly, but they accumulate. Vitamin-rich fruits and vegetables also contribute more than most people expect. Vitamin C, for example, supports collagen production, which helps maintain the structure of hair and the surrounding skin. Collagen contributes to the strength and elasticity of the tissues that anchor hair follicles. As collagen production declines with age, hair support weakens. Supplying vitamin C through whole foods helps the body maintain this structural framework. Fruits like berries, citrus, kiwi, and guava are particularly effective because they deliver vitamin C alongside other antioxidants. These antioxidants help neutralize free radicals that damage hair follicle cells over time. Reducing this oxidative stress is especially important after 60, when the body's natural defenses are less robust. Dark leafy greens offer additional benefits beyond iron. They provide folate, a B vitamin essential for cell division. Hair follicles are among the fastest dividing cells in the body, and when folate is lacking, this rapid turnover slows. The result is slower growth and increased shedding. Including a variety of greens helps ensure a steady supply of these micronutrients. Cooking methods matter too. Light cooking can improve the availability of certain nutrients, making them easier to absorb. This is helpful for older adults who may struggle with digestion. Eggs deserve special attention because they deliver multiple hair, supporting nutrients in one package. They provide complete protein, biotin, selenium, and healthy fats. Biotin in particular supports keratin production. While severe biotin deficiency is rare, marginal deficiencies can affect hair quality over time. Eggs offer a simple, versatile way to support hair health without relying on supplements. Including whole eggs rather than just egg whites ensures you're getting the full range of benefits. Dairy foods like Greek yogurt also play a role by providing protein, calcium, and beneficial bacteria that support gut health. Gut health influences nutrient absorption, which becomes increasingly important with age. When the gut functions well, the body can extract more value from the foods you eat. This indirectly benefits hair by ensuring that follicles receive the nutrients they need. Fermented dairy products are particularly useful because they support a healthy gut environment. Nuts and seeds round out this picture by providing vitamin E, healthy fats, and trace minerals. Vitamin E helps protect hair follicles from oxidative damage and supports circulation to the scalp. Improved circulation means better nutrient delivery. When nuts and seeds are eaten regularly in moderate amounts, they contribute to a more supportive environment for hair growth. It's important to choose minimally processed options to avoid inflammatory oils and excess salt. All of these foods work together rather than in isolation. Protein builds the structure. Fats reduce inflammation and support cell membranes. Minerals deliver oxygen and support repair. Vitamins protect against damage and support growth cycles. When one piece is missing, hair health suffers. When they're all present consistently, hair often becomes stronger even after years of thinning. The key is regularity. Eating these foods occasionally won't produce noticeable changes. Hair responds to patterns that persist over weeks and months. This is why people who commit to dietary changes often notice gradual improvements rather than dramatic overnight results. After 60, patience becomes an asset. The body still responds, but it responds on its own timeline. Supporting it consistently yields the best outcomes. As all of these pieces come together, what really determines whether thinning hair after 60 stabilizes or continues to worsen is how consistently you support your body over time. Hair does not respond to short bursts of effort. It responds to steady signals. Every meal either reinforces strength or reinforces scarcity. When the body senses ongoing scarcity, it conserves. When it senses stability, it maintains. That distinction matters enormously for hair. Many people become discouraged because they expect visible change within days or weeks. But hair growth operates on a delayed cycle. What you eat today influences what your follicles are able to produce weeks from now. That means patience isn't optional. It's part of the process. When you understand this, frustration gives way to confidence because you stop looking for immediate proof and start trusting the pattern you're building. One of the most empowering realizations for people over 60 is that hair health often mirrors overall health. When nutrition improves, energy improves, skin texture changes, nails strengthen. These are signs that the body is receiving what it needs and distributing resources more evenly. Hair is often the last thing to reflect improvement, not because it's unresponsive, but because it operates on longer timelines. The strands you see today began forming months ago. Strengthening them starts long before they appear. This perspective helps maintain motivation during the early weeks when visible changes are subtle. Another important factor is stress. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which can interfere with hair growth cycles and nutrient utilization. While food alone cannot eliminate stress, proper nutrition helps buffer its effects. Adequate protein stabilizes blood sugar. Healthy fats support hormonal balance. Micronutrients support nervous system function. Together, these effects create a more stable internal environment where hair follicles are less likely to be pushed into a resting or shedding phase. Many people underestimate how much calmer their bodies become when they eat consistently nourishing meals. This calm shows up in sleep quality, digestion, and mood, all of which indirectly affect hair. Hydration also plays a supporting role. While water alone will not reverse thinning hair, dehydration can exacerbate dryness and brittleness. Hair shafts rely on adequate hydration to maintain flexibility. When the body is chronically underhydrated, hair becomes more prone to breakage, which can make thinning appear worse than it actually is. Drinking water regularly and consuming water-rich food supports overall tissue health. This is especially